Hey everybody, this is Night City Gamer here, and welcome back to another tier list of Disney Speedstorm Part 2. Now, I know it's been quite some time since I last did one of these videos, and I want to apologize for the delay, and thank you guys so much for your patience, and I was focused on trying to get other projects going and trying to be caught up with those as professionally and as efficiently as I could. But thank you guys again for your patience, and I will, you know, hopefully get more into this in the near future instead of, delaying this for as long as I had, which I believe was a month or so since the last video. But, anyways, thank you guys so much for your patience. So, without further ado, let's hop right into the video. So we have Hades from Hercules first. Um, his racing stats are decent. His unique ability, I mean, I have rarely used it, and I've rarely, seen it's solid. It's not great. It's not terrible. So it definitely decent racing stats. So I definitely see Hades being a good B tier for me, and I actually place him, unfortunately, behind Steamboat Pete. So next up, we got the Aladdin characters. We got Princess Jasmine first. Definitely S tier for me. Great racing stats. Good, solid, unique ability. And I'd actually place her. I would place her just behind Jessie. Next, we got Genie. Well-rounded and well-balanced racing stats. Great ability to use. Does have potential to be A tier, but for right now, I'm going to place Genie in the B tier, and I'm actually going to place him ahead of Buzz, but just behind Goofy. Alright, we got Jafar next. Definitely has potential to be higher on the list, like an A tier. Great ability. Like Genie, well-rounded racing stats. I'm gonna put Jafar for right now in the B tier, and I actually would place Jafar. Where I would place Jafar at? That's gonna be an interesting. That's gonna be an interesting question to answer. Uh, I place Jafar. Hmm. I'd actually place Jafar ahead of Daisy Duck, but just behind Randall. I think that's a good spot for Jafar. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. All right, last but not least, for the Aladdin characters, we got Aladdin himself. Does have potential to be higher on the list, like an A tier. I think a bit higher than average of racing stats. I do love one of his abilities, especially the magic carpet. Kind of surfing and gliding and whatnot. Uh, I want to put Aladdin in the B tier category, and I'm thinking of placing him actually ahead of Randall, but just behind Sully. I think that's good. I think that's a good spot. All right, we have the Frozen, characters and rostered next. We got Anna up first. Definitely potential to be S tier, possibly, but currently, I definitely see her being a strong A tier, just in terms of racing stats and her unique ability. And I'm gonna place her ahead of Bo Peep, but just behind. Actually, no, scratch that. I'm gonna place her. I'm actually gonna place her ahead of Woody, but just behind Mowgli. Mostly in terms of if you're talking about speed, I think Anna and Mowgli aren't that far off with each other. I think Anna's faster than Woody. I believe. And she does have a well balanced out unique ability, one used for offense and defense. Her other ability being used for defense, of course. But I think that's a good spot for Anna in the A tier. Hans is up next. Does have the potential to be an A tier in the future. No denying that. However, currently, I'm going to place Hans in the B tier category. And I'm actually considering placing Hans. Because I'm trying to think of, like, in terms of his unique ability being, effective onto the track and how it's used. Because he's not far off with the other racers in terms of racing stats in the B tier. He's not too far off. It's just a matter of like how his unique ability is used and how effective it can be. That's what I'm trying to, answer that question. I'm actually gonna put him ahead of Aladdin, but just behind Sully. I think that's good. Yeah, that's a good spot for him. All right, next up we have Elsa. Great abilities. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, she does have really good racing stats, but also great ability, or abilities, I should say, that can be very helpful depending on your situation when you're on the track. I'm gonna put her. I'm actually gonna put her ahead of Jumbo, but just behind Bo Peep. I think that is a good spot for her. Next, we got Kristoff. Definitely a good ability in terms of effectiveness and how it's used. I think a good, strong, balanced out racing stats as well. Does have potential to be A tier for me, but for right now, I'm going to place him in the B tier category. And I'm actually going to place him. I'm actually going to place. Man, this is a challenge. This is a challenge. Because I don't want to place him in a spot where I'm going to be called out and say, no, he should be in the other spot, or he should be over there. I'm trying to find a right good spot for Kristoff to be at. And I think it would be a good spot for him to be, I think, in front of Hades, but just behind Steamboat P. I think that would be fair for Kristoff. Alright, last but not least, we got Olaf. Does have potential to be an A tier. Currently, I see him in the B tier category, which isn't terrible. He does have a really good ability that I, used more often than his other ability. And he does have a good balanced out racing stats. But for right now, B tier for Olaf. And I'm going to consider placing him. Oh man. This is also a tough one. Maybe I'm gonna place him ahead of Kristoff, but just behind Steamboat Pete, mostly in terms of how their unique abilities are used. And yeah, I think that's a good spot right there. B tier for Olaf. Alright, next up we got the Oswald the Lucky Rabbit characters. We have Ortensia. Strong, decent racing stats. I do love her unique ability. Potential to be an A tier? Yes. Right now, I'm going to put Ortensia in the B tier category. And I'm going to actually place her... I'm trying to think here. Because this is a tough one, too. I'm actually going to put Ortensia ahead of Daisy Duck, but just behind Jafar. I think, yeah, I think that's a good spot. Alright, we got Oswald the Lucky Rabbit next. Like Hortensia, he has good, strong racing stats, and I do like his ability. I'm not going to deny that. Does have potential to be an A tier? Yes. But for right now, I'm going to place him in the B tier. And I'm considering placing him just in front of Olaf, but just behind Steamboat Pete. That seems fair. Alright. We got Gaston from Beauty and the Beast next. I am using this character and somewhat getting accustomed to how, he is used onto the track. His abilities are, I think, decent. They're not great, they're not terrible either. Does have potential to be higher on the list in the near future, I would see. As of right now, I just see him in the B tier category, which isn't terrible. Does have potential to be a bit higher on the list for the future. But for right now, I'm going to place Gaston on the B tier. And I'm going to consider placing him ahead of Kristoff, but just behind Oswald. I think that's a good choice. Alright, next up we got the Wreck-It Ralph characters. We got King Candy first. Definitely potential S tier. Currently, A tier for King Candy. And where I'd actually place him at, I'm thinking of placing him ahead of Woody, but just behind Anna. I think that's a good spot for him. Because I really do love his abilities and how, effective they can be. Alright, we got Fix It Felix next. Like King Candy, definitely S tier potential. Currently, A tier, in my personal opinion. And I'm thinking of placing him... I'm trying to think here. I'm thinking of placing him... I think I'm placing him ahead of Anna, but just behind Mowgli. Mostly because I've grown well accustomed to using Fix-It Felix, and I do love one of his unique abilities. And he's a really strong character, in my opinion. Definitely has S-tier potential in the future. So, great spot for Fix-It Felix, in my opinion. For now. We got Vanellope next. Like the other two, definitely S-tier potential. Great racing stats. I do love one of her abilities to where you can, be glitching for a few moments and you would be invulnerable to any, oncoming attacks from other racers. I love that. So, definitely A tier for Vanellope. And I'm going to place her actually ahead of Anna, but just behind Fix-It Felix. That seems fair. Alright, we got Wreck-It Ralph, or Ralph in this case, next. Doesn't have great, but not terrible in terms of racing stats. He does have a good, strong, unique abilities to use to your advantage. It just depends on what track that you're on and how it's used. That's the only key difference here. Definitely potential to be a B tier in the future, but for right now, I'm gonna place Ralph in the C tier, just behind Minnie Mouse. Last but not least, Sergeant Calhoun. Like Ralph, she has decent racing stats, and there's only one of the two abilities that I like using, but it can be hit or miss. And to summarize it all up, she does have potential to be in the B tier, but currently I'm going to place Sergeant Calhoun in the C tier, and I'm thinking of placing her just right behind Ralph, just for now. All right, moving right along, we got the Little Mermaid characters. We got King Triton first. Love this character. I especially love one of his two abilities. Does have potential to maybe be an S tier, but I'm going to put him in A tier category. And where I'd actually place him at, I would actually place him ahead of King Candy, but just behind Anna. And reason being, this is, again, my personal opinion. While, in terms of racing stats, in terms of speed, he's not the fastest, but he covers up pretty much everything else, which is not a bad thing. But it's just one of his abilities that I love so much, where he sends literally a tidal wave right behind him, and it can be a benefit to you, especially when you're in the lead. That is the main reason why. So we got Prince Eric next. Definitely S tier potential I can see in the future. Currently, I'm going to place Prince Eric in the A tier with King Triton. And I'm thinking of... I'm actually thinking of placing him ahead of Woody, but just behind King Candy. I think that would be a fair spot for him. But in the future, I potentially can see him being actually an S tier in the future. Because he does have really great racing stats. And I have grown very accustomed to using the character and also using his abilities. But right now, definitely an A tier for me. We got Ariel next. Definitely S tier potential, like Prince Eric. Great racing stats. I do love her unique ability and how it can be used. But currently, I'm going to place Ariel in the A tier for now. And I'm actually going to consider placing Ariel... I'm actually going to place Ariel just ahead of King Candy, but just behind King Triton. I think that's a good spot for Ariel. And while Ariel's ability is, I think, in my opinion, it's used for offense and can increase your speed whenever you get a certain number for items collected. It can give you a huge boost, but only temporary. It's just how it's used that is the key difference here. But definitely a good pick for Ariel to be in the A tier for me. last but not least, we have Ursula. I'm just getting accustomed to using Ursula, and she has decent stats, and her unique abilities can be a hit or miss, depending on how it's used. And does have potential to be a B tier in the future, but I mean, currently, I am unfortunately going to have to put Ursula in the C tier, and I'm going to put Ursula... I'm going to put Ursula... I'm going to put her right behind Sergeant Calhoun. I think that's a decent spot for her. Alright. I'm actually going to do the next three right here. Wally, Eve, and Kermit the Frog. I'm actually going to place these three into the have not unlocked or have not used yet, because even though I've unlocked these characters some time ago, I unfortunately have not actually played these characters yet. I've seen other online players use these characters, and I know what they could be capable of in terms of using them onto the track and also using their unique abilities. And depending on what level you have these three racers at, they can actually be a solid B or an A tier. But for right now, you're just going to be into the have not used yet. But you guys drop down your rank in the comment section where you would rank these three racers at on this list. I'm actually curious myself. Alright, moving along, we have the Inside Out characters. We got Joy first. I mean, Joy has decent racing stats. Her unique abilities, I have mixed feelings about, because it's not great, but I don't think it's terrible. I'm gonna have to place her in the C tier, and it's gonna have to be behind Minnie Mouse and in front of Ralph. Okay. Last character for today's video, I'm gonna do Sadness from Inside Out. I do love her unique abilities, because they can be used for both offense and defense. She does have strong, solid racing stats. Does have potential to be an A tier in the future, but right now I'm going to place Sadness in the B tier category. And I'm going to consider putting Sadness... Where would I place Sadness at? I think I would place Sadness ahead of Ortensia, but just behind Jafar. I think that would be a good spot for her. Well, here is the updated list of my character rosters of Disney Speedstorm tier list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If I did good, or maybe there was a character that I put on here that you thought would be better in a different part of the list, and you give me your reason why. You guys let me know in the comment section. I'm actually curious myself. But I'm actually going to wrap it up for today's video. Want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit that bell to be notified for all my latest videos and upcoming videos in the future. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, guys, so that you guys don't miss out on these videos. And like I mentioned early on in the video, I do apologize for the delay. I know I haven't gotten to this in quite some time. I've been focused on trying to get my other playlists going. I'm trying to wrap up the Assassin's Creed Odyssey playlist and videos, And also, I'm currently into the new playlist, Dispatch, which you guys should be checking out now. So, I've been currently preoccupied with those at the present time. But I definitely wanted to get back into this. I definitely want to make more of these videos in the future because I know you guys like, these videos, and it definitely means a lot to me that you guys view these videos and drop your comments and like them. Just want to say thank you guys. It really does mean a lot. All right. Well, that'll be it for today's video, and hopefully I won't be delaying this any longer when I make another one of these videos. Hopefully it won't be like a long delay, but I definitely plan on getting another video this out in the future. So just be on the lookout for that. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep on gaming.